Hi.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to your Friday night.
I had to hit the button over there.
Oh, you did. I am
That.
Joe.
Go. Right.
We're all about the soda pop over here.
And I'm already unmuted.
I muted you. Yes, I made sure.
So I always call it, Robbie?
Pop.
Pop? You always call it pop?
Bro, so until I got here.
It's Coke.
Michael is Coke. And then what soda? What flavor?
Right. But what flavor is your Coke?
What a funny thing to say.
Could be Mountain Dew, could be Dr. Pepper, could be Sunkissed.
Any sense? None. But, you know.
Marketing.
I think I'd like to be around with hearing people simply pop. Just to get back.
That is definitely a Midwest
growing
thing.
up, it was definitely pop.
Hey, honey, you want to pop? Oh, he had a pop.
No, it was definitely pop growing up. It was not soda until I got here, and then it became soda. So
Type in the chat what you call it.
I gotta get you a new microphone.
Again?
Yep. So I need you to turn it so you're talking into the red part.
The red part. Okay.
Yes. You turned it off, I think.
Turn it up?
No, never mind. You're good.
Okay.
Just leave it like that. So the front part though, like this.
Yeah.
Like you need to be talking into the front of it. Yep.
Yep. I'm right here.
Yeah, it's still being stupid, but whatever.
Well, I like stupid. That's what I do.
So, how was your week?
My
week was
pretty big.
Good. Yeah.
Cool. So we ended the school. I am moving into my own classroom store. And pretty excited.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone is a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cutting out, way cutting out for some reason. I don't understand why.
I'm going to go ahead and just unplug and replug. How was your?
Yes, go ahead and plug it in. Replug it in, whatever. I'm going to fix that next week. My week was all right. This is pretty busy. pretty busy at my full-time job, then, spent the other time of it. I know that plug really, it's hard to get in there. All right, hang on. I got to get your restart app. Okay, try that.
All right, I'm talking again there.
Hey.
How are we doing? Okay, this
Not
seems
too
a little
bad.
bit better.
Not too bad.
There
Yeah,
we
it
go.
does.
Okay, I'm not cutting out now.
No, not
Yeah,
right.
so
Not yet.
I found out that my co-partner was leaving, and so I'm going to get a new teacher in. And because 6th grade is moving into middle school this year, we have a lot more rooms available. So they're separating us, and there's one side that's resource and the other side that's behavioral resource. So I get to be, what are you doing? This is focus on me.
It's my Joe Biden bobblehead.
Oh
It's
my
not
God.
your turn.
Oh, Lord.
Well, I'm not saying anything.
Anyways, yeah.
Go ahead. Keep going. You got distracted by the bobblehead, didn't you?
Apparently I did. I got taken over by a bobblehead. But so the teacher came in on the last day of school and met her and everything. And dude.
You
And
don't appreciate a good bobblehead.
met her and I was like, hey, so yeah, looks like you get to choose. Do you want resource or do you want behavioral resource? She's like, I'll take the resource and you can have the behavioral. I'm like, oh, thanks. So we're gonna just
you don't get a pick?
No, because I'm a long-term sub. I'm not a teacher yet. I gotta earn that certification. She's has like 15, 20 years on me in the teaching field. I'm
okay. I
a
got you.
peant.
All right.
Even though technically, had I done the traditional walk, I would have being taught 18, 20 years by this point.
Mhm.
So
Correct.
I could be that, but I'm not. I'm doing these other things. But I'm excited about having my own room. And this was the room that I thought it was going to be originally. So it's I'm going to put some white sage in there and cleanse it of all the evil that happened this year and refocus that energy.
Nice.
Yeah,
oh, that's
I'm real
cool.
excited. I'm just going to be excited about it because rather than fear it. And I went to a training yesterday, and it was about summer camp for theater. And they were talking. One teacher and I gave a little spiel on neurodivergent children, and just, if they're doing these things, maybe their core isn't stimulated, or maybe they're overstimulated or understimulated. Just general people, children stuff.
Right.
And the more you know how to motivate them, the more they'll do what you want them to do. Pretty easy.
Yeah.
And I was talking, I was like, no, they're going to be fine. It's not like, I don't think they're going to hit you or anything. And like, I had 17 little 20-something-year-old going, what? I'm like, oh, no, I'm sorry. That's just my world. My babies are the one that's hit.
So now you have summer break.
Yeah, but not really so much of the principal
Okay, so
was,
you're not going to be working at the school over the summer.
So it's
you're
gonna be like
going to be
switching
working
gears,
other
transition.
places.
Yes.
Exactly. You're going to be working here.
Yes. So I am definitely going to be at the store a lot more, and then teaching, and I have a on-pool vacation in there, which I'm trying to be excited about, but it's not happening yet. And yeah. But I am excited about summer. I always love summer, except when it gets too hot.
Why aren't you excited about the trip yet? Just because you haven't figured out it's coming yet? Or?
I think because everything else has to be okay for me to feel excited about something that's about me. Does that make sense? Like, I don't get a turn until all these other things are taken care of. And once all that's done, then I can say, hey, Jody, or how are you, girl? And focus on me. So I think it will. Also, if we make lots of money, that before the trip, that would be even better. I don't know.
That would be helpful.
That would be helpful. Yes. So that was my week. Pretty darn exciting. And our son graduated from elementary school.
Oh my goodness.
And big deal.
Yes.
Michael and I couldn't be at his kindergarten because we were both working. So my parents went to his ceremony. And then since I was at the school, I could help set up with his. And all of his teachers are crying, and the people who worked with them, they're like, Jody, why aren't you crying? And I'm like, I don't cry at these types of things. I'm excited. It's awesome. I can't wait to
Right.
keep going.
Because everyone's supposed to pass sixth grade.
That's it.
It's great, but it's not the biggest accomplishment that
Yeah,
he's going to
like-
do in his life.
I'm happy he's alive and learning and growing. So it's not that big a deal. I don't think like, oh my God, my baby, because he's not. I've been with him all 12 years of his life, every second of every day. I
Mhm.
know him.
Yeah, this wasn't one of the challenges we had with him.
Yeah. So, but it was a big deal. And him moving into middle school is a big deal, growing up. Next year, he's going to be a sweet teen. Maybe not so sweet. He's going to be salty.
He'll be 13, huh?
He'll be 13. Yeah.
Wow.
Like, what? Almost 6 months. In 6 months, almost, he'll be 13.
He just had a birthday. What are you talking about?
That's how fast it's gone by.
Oh,
Everything-
God.
Even
Do
he
you-
noticed.
Do you remember when life was slower? Like school and high school or elementary
yeah.
school was forever?
No,
Time was so slow.
When I was at my first command, early 20s, or late teens, early 20s, man, it was a full season between Monday and Friday.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly.
I mean, we set our clocks forward. It was that long. And then it was several years ago, I realized that it is no time at all before it's lunchtime on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And lunchtime
Oh,
on Wednesday,
yeah.
my week's half over.
Right? Oh, yeah, I know. No,
yeah,
that's
some
crazy.
point in your adult life when just everything is going way too fast.
Everything goes like hyperspace speed or
And-
something now.
All right, someone explained to me before, just your brain's logic on it. When you're 10, 5 years is half your life. That's, half your experiences. So now that I'm almost 50, a quarter century is half my life.
Yeah.
So I got more things in there to basically speed up the
That's
time.
Yeah, you've had a lot more transitions in 25 years than you had in 5. I mean, those were your first 5, but you
And
don't remember them.
and all that's valid, but even Benji mentioned earlier today about, wasn't it just February the other
Oh.
day? So it's happening for him now at 12.
We were watching something on YouTube and it was a Try Not to Laugh from 2009. And I was like, oh, okay. And Benji's like, 2000. It's like forever ago. Like that's vintage. And I
Right.
was like, no, it's not. And we watched it and it's terrible. I mean, you have the Maya he, Maya ha guy on there and like really old stuff. The editing is bad. It was really dated. And I feel like 2009 wasn't that long ago.
It wasn't. It doesn't seem like it was that long
we were
ago.
doing Viva
But
Voom. I was married.
My first Bengals trip. The first one.
was it?
Was that in
Well,
2009?
it was the 2009 playoffs. So it was in
Mm.
January 2010, but it was a 2009 season.
But it just 2009 wasn't seen that long ago, and yet technologically it's historic or
Yeah.
prehistoric. Prehistoric.
It's historic.
It's dated, yeah. And I don't necessarily appreciate that because previous generations got 100 years and then a change, and then 100 years and then a change. So you were able mentally and physically and emotionally to the change. But now it's too fast, too much. I want out. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that.
You ever want to lecture someone when they refer to the 1900s?
No, I think it's cute.
I want to hold them up by their
Unless-
toes.
What do you mean?
Well, the kids now are calling it the 1900s,
Oh,
which,
called the 20th century, but yeah.
Yeah,
right?
back in the 1900s.
They don't want to be like
back in
Bad
the
Religion Boy, 21st
1900s.
century digital boy. Even that's
Yeah, right?
dated. But
No, exactly.
I never understood the 20th century anyway, because it's
always not, right? If
it's
was
the
19.
I could get that for a minute, given that your first century would be 0.
0 to 1.
Correct.
So the
correct.
0 year is your
So
first.
you're not the 0 century. So
Right.
that's why it's the first century.
And it is your
builds
first
up
one
from
because you've
there.
started one. But
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
But as people, when we count our birthdays or whatnot, you're not one till you've been here for a year.
Right.
Instead of like starting counting at 1, instead of starting counting at 0.
Well,
Which is what
it's just not the way they done it. We
or
just,
Japanese.
And
tradition and everything. They
and
just
now we're
kept the
stuck with it.
tradition going and they just stuck with it. Yes,
It's like
correct.
somebody made a mistake and we just can't deal with changing it.
And that's the way things have always been around here.
Yep, that's the way we do it.
That's exactly, yeah. If that's what you hear, if that's the way it's always been done,
Mhm.
something needs to be changed. You need to look
Yep.
at that.
I remember the
Like the toilet. If you review that it's like still fabulous and nothing needs to be changed, that's fine, but just review it.
No, exactly. So, hey, we had a very cool thing happen this week.
Yeah, we did.
I did a little video last week about
Just a little
the
one.
ongoing trial, and on X, which used to be Twitter, formerly known as Twitter. I mean, the whole X Twitter thing, it's like Prince.
Yeah, it's totally like Prince.
The website formerly
Well-
known as Twitter.
Mhm.
Well, at least with Prince, the symbol that he changed his name to translated to the king's son. So he changed his name from Prince to Prince, just in a
really?
dead language. So Twitter to X, though. What's the X?
I didn't even know that symbol oh my gosh.
Yeah, it
that's
translates
funny.
to the king's son.
Michael
Which would
has
be
a
the
saying
Prince.
about
Yeah.
Prince.
What's your saying
Well,
about
you
Prince?
just don't look him in the eye because he'll turn you gay.
No.
That's-
Just don't look at him in the eye.
don't look him in the eye.
So so the little video I'm just gonna leave
We're
that
moving on
there.
here.
So our little video got like 68,000 views. Well, at least the tweet did. The
Right.
thing got 68,000 views on X. I'm very excited about that. We
Yeah.
picked up some YouTube subscribers too, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I will take that. So what I did was I made another video about this week's trial,
Hooray.
which, just a kind of a continuation of the complete crap show that this trial is. And trust me, it's not gotten any better. Oh my gosh, it has not gotten any better. It's
You mean the
probably
Commonwealth of
gotten
Massachusetts
worse.
hasn't righted themselves?
I wish that if they have evidence of what actually happened during the event,
Uh-huh.
I wish they would bring out some evidence. So far, there's no evidence that anything happened. There's barely evidence that a person passed away.
Well, there's plenty of evidence that they botched a crime scene,
Oh, there's plenty of evidence of that.
a potential crime scene.
Yep.
Yes. So here you go. This is Karen Reed update part 2. Stand by. I'm going to hide us all here real quick. Hide.
I don't remember speaking with Mr. Lally. I don't remember.
But I just don't remember.
I don't remember the conversation.
And I don't really recall. I don't recall. But I can't say for sure exactly.
I actually don't remember that part, no.
Oh, he'll remind you.
I don't remember.
I don't remember, no.
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I'm telling you, I don't recall.
I don't recall that.
I don't recall him asking that. I don't remember him saying that.
Where did that preparation take place?
The preparation took place, I believe, I'm trying to remember exactly where it was. I actually don't recall where it was.
Can you rephrase that, please? Can you rephrase that question? Please, can you rephrase that?
Oh boy. See, the thing is, if you're just absolutely evasive, it's not going to make the jury think you're credible.
Mr. Albert, on the early morning of January 29th, 2022, did John O'Keefe ever come into your house that night?
John never came into my house that night. He would have been welcomed, and the defendant would have been welcomed with open arms had they come in, and I wish they had. I really do.
Come into your house at 34 Fairview at any time on January 29th, 2022.
Absolutely not. I wished he had.
And you're as sure about that?
I wished he had. That's an interesting statement.
Did an investigator or any forensics team ever come into your house, ever, to photograph your entire home?
No, I wish they had.
Did an investigator? Yeah, me too.
That's correct.
And once again, you didn't see a 6'2" man lying on the front lawn,
He said
correct?
that multiple
No,
times.
I wish I did, but I didn't.
You're not the only one who
As
said
you
that.
walk-
There was no body, was there?
I never saw a body.
Thank you.
I wish I had.
Sounds like that's a little rehearsed.
Not at all. It's not at all.
I wish I had. A lot of people have said, I wish I had. John O'Keefe never came in that house that
He
night.
left the
I wish he had.
Working with the police, I was sharing information and everything that had happened. We didn't want it to leave our little circle because we were trying to figure out what happened.
And Karen's not part of your little circle, is she?
Energetically screamed for me to go fuck myself. She was waving her hands. Johnny was trying to calm her down. And after I said, yeah, fuck you too, I went out to the pool bar. So I didn't see much after that. I went up to her and I looked at her and I said, John O'Keefe's girlfriend. And she looked at me and said, Karen. And I said, yeah, you guys like her? She said, yeah, she's okay. And I said, well, she sucks.
Okay.
Now, following that,
All right. Stop that. So, I mean, that's basically it. There was a whole bunch of I don't remembers. I forgot.
Has the Commonwealth rested yet?
Oh God, no, dude.
Oh,
No.
there's more.
So next week's video will include some of the stuff today where there was a guy named Brian Higgins that testified today. He's an ATF agent.
Higgins.
That I guess him and the defendant, Miss Reed, were kind of flirting back and forth, right?
Well,
Like-
she's on the market now.
Well, yeah, this is before all that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know, they had a complicated relationship. I mean, I left out some really weird stuff from this trial this week. And I kind of wait for Jody to get back. Going back to the video though, let me show you something real quick. And I'm just going to share this. So part at the end here, this chick, when she does that, you know, that whole, oh, well, she sucks. And then look at this. Look, and people can't hear this. So this is her looking at the defendant. That's her looking at Karen Reed. We'll go back 10 seconds. So she says the part about she sucked. Oh, come on. Now you're not going to play, really.
And who is the salty twat?
She is the person, one of the people that went to Aruba with the defendant and John O'Keefe. So she was on a trip to Aruba. She's a really good friend with the defendant. There she goes, that eyeball right there. She stares right at the defendant. Now, she's sitting 4 feet away from one of the first jurors. So the juror is seeing all of this. What good is this? And normally a defense attorney would probably object to this. But why? Let her just be stupid. I mean,
well, it would have helped if we got some more clarifying information about why she feels this way about her.
Because something about her kissing John or some stuff. I mean, there was more of a thing. I just didn't put it in the 4-minute video.
Something like, domestic drama. Don't touch my
What it come down to is there was a group of women that were friends with John that didn't like Karen.
John's girlfriend. John's girlfriend or John's wife, whatever. Yeah,
John's girlfriend. They did not like her. One of the big things that the clicky woman, the woman that does that fucking thing the whole time, excuse my language. One of the things she said is she's texting with the group of all the people that were in the house, right? All these people were in the house this night. And next day, she's with one of Karen's friends, named Carrie Roberts. And she's texting her little circle. Remember, she said, I didn't want it to get outside the little circle.
Right.
So she's texting the little circle. And she's listening to the interview that this woman is giving to the police. And she's saying, she's telling them everything. And it's like, and so the defense attorney keeps asking her, well, what is everything? You say, she's telling him everything. What is everything? And she said, well, I heard something that horrified me. It horrified me when I heard it. And Carrie's a talker, and she said this thing, and she said it multiple times, and it was horrifying. And so that's why I texted my group. She's telling them everything, because she's telling them all this stuff. And so it comes out later on. Well, what was the horrifying thing that you heard? Right. Well, Carrie said that John really loved Amy, and that Karen was just a babysitter with benefits. What?
That's
the shocking, horrifying thing that made you text out. She's telling him everything. Really?
What? Yeah.
The horror. So you think the jury's sitting there looking at this going, what? And then so then the state put up these 2 women who went to Aruba who didn't like her to begin with. And they're, I mean, and then today it was hours of reading these text messages from this ATF guy to her, because they were going back and forth, and she was saying, and so she's in this relationship with this guy who inherited all of a sudden his brother died and he has his niece and nephew that he's raising. Right. So she's in a relationship with a guy that now has 2 children.
Okay.
And so she's conflicted about this things. Right. And so it's like, I didn't have kids for a reason. So now I have these kids.
That's true. What happened when?
So it's human development, human relationship development. Right. And so now that's getting played out in front of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's texting with this guy, and they're going back and forth, and they're being.
I hope that never happens
with each other.
My dirty laundry is aired out. That's one of my absolute worst nightmares. Is when people know my business.
So here's the crazy thing: this guy's involved in all this, right? He was at the house that night too.
Right.
He was at the bar with him before. He goes and he prints out. He uses FBI technology to print out these texts that he had with Karen. But he never turns his phone over. Instead, he busts up his phone, cuts up his SIM card,
Like innocent people with nothing to hide.
Do.
Only prints out the text messages that he has with Karen and gives them to everybody, but doesn't give them anything else.
That's sus.
The night that this happened, I'm going to do a butt dialing thing. Remember, there's a little bit of butt dialing in the first video. Oh, there's more butt dialing because he was one of the people when Brian Albert, who was the owner of the home, said that he called Brian Higgins in the middle of the night at 2:22 in the morning. That was a butt dial. And then Brian called him back because he butt dialed him back. So these two guys' butts are calling each other. And then Jennifer,
just see Ace Ventura the video. Hello.
Here's the other part. Jennifer, the clicky lady. She called John O'Keefe's phone 7 times in the course of 19 minutes that night. Because she put her phone in her pocket, supposedly, and it dialed him. Now, so think about this, guys. I'm going to give you a little thing. When you butt dial somebody, you call their phone, what's going to happen when they don't answer it?
It goes to voicemail.
Okay. Do you think butts are smart enough to hang up before it goes to voicemail?
No. You usually have a pocket conversation I've listened to several of Michael's butt dial voicemails. They're like 25 minutes long.
All 7 of these calls. Her butt was so smart it hung up before the voicemail got to her. And she deleted them off of her phone before she gave her phone to the police.
That should still be recoverable.
Oh, it was when the feds downloaded her phone and turned it over to the defense.
Right.
The defense wouldn't have even had these calls if the federal government hadn't investigated this thing. Dude, it's crazy. It's so this case is so freaking crazy.
You're soaking up this drama. I do feel bad for this woman. I mean, it's a lot of crap to be throwing at you.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're having trouble even saying that a crime occurred.
Right.
I mean, they got a beat up corpse, and that just doesn't happen naturally. But you're having trouble pointing out that this is the person who made it happen.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's so much weirdness about this thing. I mean,
and remember the old moniker, it's better that 10 guilty go free versus 1 innocent go to prison?
Right.
Correct.
Doesn't seem Massachusetts is following that model.
And I mean, there's still stuff to come out, right? I mean, but there have been like 40 some witnesses so far, 30 to 40 witnesses so far. This was like day 17 of testimony.
Wow, that's
and there's
a lot.
Nothing. There is no physical evidence been
and
presented.
This is still the prosecution's case.
Oh yeah, they still have.
They haven't even arrested yet.
No, they're not even. It doesn't even seem like they're even close to. I mean, they've still supposedly got. They've got the medical examiner, the people that treated him in the hospital haven't testified yet. The medical examiner hasn't testified. None of their like crash reconstruction experts. They haven't had any expert testimony. They haven't had testimony about the.
What do they do in the hospital besides tie the toe tag on?
Because of the weather conditions, because of the hypothermia potential that they have had success bringing people back during, being super cold.
Sure.
Right. So that was the attempt in the ambulance and that was the attempt in the hospital.
Okay.
And then they realized that, it was futile. And so that didn't take long, but, they still made an attempt to see if there was any chance that they could resuscitate.
Yeah.
The guy. But, oh my goodness, this thing is just, I mean, it's incredible.
So they were hoping the weather worked like cryosleep?
Yes. Like Ted Williams.
Do you feel this case is going to be studied as a what not to do example, or that future injustice will be used to like this case will be used in other court cases to defend.
I could see this being a good argument for city assemblies or city councils to actually fund a crime scene unit like, CSI
Okay.
versus having the crime scene team be just other police officers. And this is, some of their collateral duties.
So
you're on the crime scene
actually
team
make something good come out of this.
I can see that, and using this as an example with, what happens when you just let non-criminologist cops collect your evidence.
Yeah.
Right. No, exactly. And then, well, I mean, they called in the state police, which is what they were supposed to do, and but they were all friendly with the
right.
Everybody was friends. Everybody was in this friend group, and they were all tied to law enforcement. So,
well, it's a small state. You're gonna know people. Another thing I know with law enforcement, I mean, that is usually one inbred community. I remember
you're correct. Yes.
Reading a conversation. He was on Quora about a cop talking with his friends, in the locker room at the station or whatever. And his civilian friend or whatever, and another cop just chimed up, "You still have non-cop friends?"
Yeah. No, exactly.
Because you end up hanging out with people that you work with and whatnot. And they went on to say that people that have friends with a police officer, they're always hitting the person up. "Hey, can you get me out of this ticket? Hey, can you do this for me? Can you answer this hypothetical, whatever?"
Sure.
So you just get tired of that and quit talking to those people.
Well, it's the same with like nurses.
Yeah, probably any other
lawyers.
community. Well, lawyers found an easy way around that. They answer every question with, "Well, it depends."
That's
and
a good answer.
Legally, it's true.
It's a good answer.
No, right? Exactly. So, speaking of lawyers and lawyer things and everything,
lawyer things.
How do I start this? So I had been thinking about, this whole online thing and the show that we're trying to do that we're actually going to be recording here in the next couple more scenes. So we're getting really close. My next project is to do do my trailer. Although now I'm stuck on these Karen Reed videos because you got to ride what's hot. But anyway, one of the things that just got me thinking about doing all this was a certain YouTube personality. I saw him during, you remember Kyle Rittenhouse, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kyle Rittenhouse trial was was not televised. It was on, it was on like court TV and everything, and then it was on YouTube. It was broadcast, yes. So I started watching this one attorney who was really funny. Name was Rick. Oh, shoot, your Michael went off for some reason. There we go. Try that. Say hi.
Hello.
Okay, you're there. So Nick Rekieta, a lawyer from Minnesota, was hilarious, and he had a big he started getting a big channel after that. So Rittenhouse got him a bunch of viewers.
Gotcha.
And then he followed the Johnny Depp trial. And he got even more viewers, and he picked up a big Rumble deal for like $1 million or something, right? And he was getting like major super chats and everything, right? And he would always help any of these folks that would come along, right? And so like lots of other YouTubers that I follow got their start on his show. Like legal people got their start on his show. Like they went on there and people from his audience followed him.
Gotcha.
Right. And there were times during Johnny Depp, he had like 100,000 plus people watching at the same time. Like his stream, his court TV ended up getting a deal with Twitter, I think it was, or no, with YouTube, right? With Google, because Nick's stream got more viewers than Court TV was getting.
Ah.
the Rittenhouse trial. Like there would be more people watching it on Nick's stream than there was watching it on actual YouTube.
I mean, television or
Yeah, on
mainstream
court
media
TV,
streaming.
right? So they did not like that. So Google made it so all of the searches and everything went to Google, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was a lot because of Nick. Well, there are perils to success.
Right. Always the flip side.
There are perils. And so over the past probably 6 months, the quality, I mean, Nick was doing a show every single night and the quality just started going down. And then he got involved in a legal scrap with a really weird guy that came into his chat and started berating him. And so he berated him back and then the guy sued him.
Oh.
And they haven't dismissed the case yet. The case has no merit. He launched a defamation suit. This guy was a nutcase. But they're still letting it proceed because he hired a local lawyer that doesn't like Nick. Well, Mr. Ricada, this is him this morning. This was in jail this morning. This was his arraignment this morning.
He's living his YouTube.
He's living his YouTube success best life here, I guess. This was him a few years ago. This was a couple years ago when he first started doing YouTube, as you know, and he
what's he arrested for?
Drugs.
This was like a year ago. This is when he started going down the path that was kind of, not great. This was a stream the other night. This is like the stream that got him. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot going on there. He was arrested and charged with having more than 25 grams of cocaine.
Say it's a lawyer, right?
Yes. Oh, well, he's not. I mean,
Okay.
he still has his law license, yes, but he doesn't really practice. He does YouTube. I mean, that's his main.
Yeah, still a lawyer.
That's his main source of.
But yeah,
everything is online presentation. But you can just
27 grams. That doesn't feel like personal use.
Oh God. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, for
sounds like
somebody that's
distribution.
got a lot. For somebody that's got a lot of money, it is.
Yeah, I guess you buy like a 6-month supply all at once.
Well, his wife got arrested with him, and then there was he actually had his wife, and then there was a girl from another show that was in Minnesota that basically got hooked up with them, left her husband to move into their house,
Oh.
and was railing away on cocaine as well.
Yeah, those aren't healthy relationships or choices.
And every adult in the house got arrested?
Everybody in the house got arrested.
Yeah.
The real issue is, and I mean, this path has been hard to watch because they have 5 children.
I was just thinking about that, if they had any children.
Yeah. They have 5 children that they were homeschooling.
Oh,
and
drugs happened.
Yeah, that they were, and I mean, they were in like a faith-based program, and I don't know where it went off the rails.
Right.
Rails.
Here. Oh, I've used that term a couple times.
Yeah.
Here is actually, so let me show you this. Right here, this was this was like right near the downfall. So this is a guy named Aaron, and he is on a show in Minnesota that's also on YouTube. And then this was his wife April, who was his co-host on the show. And then this is Nick, and then this is his wife. And April is the one that decided, no, I don't want to do the show with you anymore. I'd rather go and do cocaine. And
Wow.
live here with these people instead. So yeah, so this was like, so even Aaron said, man, that hot tub show was completely the wrong thing to do. He realized what was going on, and he begged her to, just come home, stop doing this.
Oh.
That drug thing is a very big anchor, right? And it anchors people down.
It's a very huge Pandora's box. And I mean, I can't talk. I don't know much about the dark world, but
right.
I don't want to either. So what you're saying is, go ahead.
Oh, just, and they found 4 of his 5 children at the house. They had to use a battering ram to get in the house.
Oh,
you do not have to open your door.
Somebody reported them.
They'll have a key.
Supposedly it was a required reporter had, gotten some information and turned this into the police like a week or so ago. Like the 16th, I think, is when that started. And then the 23rd is when they showed up and they said, we got a search warrant. You're not getting in the house. I guess he wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah. But they were, and I guess they got a hold of him on the phone. He wouldn't give them the code to get in. So they took a battering ram, bashed the door down.
Okay.
He actually wasn't obligated to give them the code.
No, he's not.
And the cops have a key.
Mike, yeah.
So they
on that.
Broke the door down, found 4 of the 5 kids, found cocaine everywhere in like multiple safes.
Oh,
they found
sad.
I mean, it was in their bedroom and in a safe in the bed. It was in a safe, right? So it was put away. It wasn't just laying around the house. I mean, it wasn't
no
a
crack
safe.
house.
And,
no, but
there was
most
crack
times,
in the house.
when it comes to safety of the children related to the substance,
yes,
people have worse stuff under their sinks.
And yeah, but they also said the house was in disarray. There were clothes everywhere. There were dirty dishes, so they had stopped taking care of their house.
Right.
They also found
drugs.
They found cocaine, and they found
there's got to be more pills or something
like Molly or one of those other, ecstasy or something. It was like a Schedule 1 drug. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but we're going by the federal government's definition of them.
Yeah. Well, cocaine is like Schedule 2 there.
And somehow marijuana is still Schedule 1.
So they found guns too, and there's a law in Minnesota that if there is cocaine and there is guns, it's even more of a, there's additional
cocaine
charges.
Specific?
Yes.
Probably because of crack.
Well, scheduled drugs, anything on the schedule. So
okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So,
but the crack and firearms law actually with cocaine as well.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just for somebody,
meth guns, crystal and guns, although that's probably all the same stuff.
It could be, but I don't think there was that big of a with meth or speed as there was with crack in the 80s and the gang wars and whatnot, just for people to get that. And then some of the punishments, you could might as well be a pound of coke in your pocket, but only a gram of crack, and the crack will get you 10 years where the coke would have gotten 18 months.
Correct.
Wow.
And unfortunately, this was posted tonight, so I don't know. I would like to see the man get cleaned up.
Sure. Redemption.
And exactly. But he posted this tonight. Hey, so obviously a lot has happened.
You don't say.
I'm sorry. For legal purposes, it must be reiterated that sorry is for the disruption in no way related to any pending legal matters. That said, please realize no one has the full story or picture on anything. It's possible no one ever will. Nothing reported is accurate. That's not their fault. See many supportive messages. Thank you for stuff. I'll be doing stuff. I'm home now. Stay tuned for show announcements. I mean, I realize the guy's got to, make a living and everything, but I would think
this is not where his focus needs to be.
I would think his Johnny attorney said make no public statements.
Yeah.
You know who his attorney is, don't you?
Oh, dear God.
Guess who his attorney is?
I don't want to.
Yeah, you
I
do.
don't-
You
I-
know who his attorney is. You all know who his attorney is. It's a very obvious thing.
Well,
That's
the only
who his
attorney I know
attorney
is
is.
dead.
What did I say this guy does?
He's
What
a
was-
lawyer. No. He's an influencer. Or
He's a lawyer, though.
He's a
an
lawyer.
attorney. All right.
Oh
so
my God! Did he hire himself?
who's his own client?
Oh my gosh, you're kidding.
No.
Or that probably just means he either doesn't have the money for the retainer for a damn good lawyer, or no one wants to cover him.
No, he hired one of the best First Amendment lawyers to go to do the suit for him. He's got the cash.
Okay.
But he's representing himself.
And he's representing his wife, supposedly.
Oh,
Which you're so invested in that, dude. You have to have someone who's removed.
The judge today at the arraignment even said that, there are issues about, husband and wife, right? There, you can't make a husband testify against a wife and vice versa. So, but when you have a husband and wife that are co-defendants,
separate trial,
there's a whole thing. And so the judge is saying, I don't know if that's, because she says she waives any, she waives anything to do with all that. And the judge's like, I don't know if that's waivable. I don't know if you can waive those kind of privileges. And so that just opens up a whole nother thing. But I doubt
the law is she can't be forced to testify against your spouse.
Right. But I don't know that you can have a co-defendant represent another defendant in a trial that you're also married to.
That needs to look up.
That seems to, there's a whole lot going on there.
Yeah. Now, if you're your own attorney and how do you put yourself on the stand?
Oh, there are ways to do that. Absolutely.
Sure, it just seems weird though. Do you? Right, exactly. Do I stand up, walk around to the podium to ask my question, to go back to the witness box to sit down and answer?
Right. No, because you still have the prosecutor that can
that's
still
for cross.
object. Well, right, but he can object to anything you're saying. So you can get up on the stand and you can testify. You can give your own testimony.
Sure.
But it still can be objected to.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to stay within the rules of evidence. You still have to stay within the rules of
criminal
procedure and hearsay and all of that. You can't bring in hearsay. You can't do all that. So, I mean, it's just, you're not actually answering questions from yourself, but you are just testifying.
You're giving your side of things.
Giving your side of things within the boundaries of the law. So,
where did the history of a spouse can't testify or doesn't have to testify? Why that privilege?
Because there's things you're going to tell your significant other or whatnot that basically say like it's for your family's better interest or whatnot. You and your spouse are a team, if you will.
Correct. They're more like an extension of you, but more than anyone.
More than a roommate.
They're going to see things that no one else is going to see, and not a lot of times not even at their own. It's not their choice to see it, right?
Okay.
So they don't have a choice to see these things. If you're with a friend and you commit a robbery and your friend sees all that, that's wide open. But if you're with your wife, they can't force her to testify against you.
Interesting.
So,
I'm not really seeing.
Right.
You can waive they did something wrong. You tell. Doesn't matter. Because there's that privilege is with like a parent and a child, right? That's the only other relationship I can see as being extremely close.
Michael, don't you do anything because she's gonna rat you out real quick.
I've seen it in court though too. Say like in a divorce or a protective order proceeding, how the spouse tries to, point out that he or she, whatever, has been selling cocaine, for the past 7 years.
Right.
And the judge just throws it right back at him. You mean the 7 years that you've been living with the person?
Right. We've talked about
now
that.
it's a problem at divorce court?
Yeah. You don't get to say it was a problem if you never spoke up in the marriage about it.
Yeah.
Or if you had no problem in the marriage and you were joining in on that.
You were enjoying the money that came in from it.
In my mind, I'm still not understanding because it's two adults. And we both have to follow law. So if you tell me you killed somebody, I'm gonna tell on you.
Yeah, you're basically making me an accessory, or the person's making the other person an accessory.
Reporter on that, right?
Right. I mean, it's an interesting thing. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah,
though.
if I'm hiding corpses under the mattress,
I feel like I gotta tell.
Someone should let someone know. Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna look it up. Where did spousal privilege?
Before we finish, we're gonna touch on Harrison Butker.
We can. Why don't you? Yes, we can.
Oh, so picture this. Let's say a Jewish guy, active in his Jewish faith, is giving a speech to a Jewish university, and in his speech, he's discussing Jewish,
Stuff?
things.
Yes.
Well, it's Catholic.
Well, I know you're switching it on me.
You're doing it. Okay, you're switching it up. I got you.
Or the main course is served and everything.
All right, I got you.
You think anyone should have a problem with that? Because he's, speaking to his own Jewish crowd and really talking about Jewish things.
Not really, no.
So what's the big deal if a Catholic does it to a Catholic school?
I don't see a problem.
Yeah.
As long as you're not raping children.
Lefties losing it, man. They have just flipped out. This one guy, he's a kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he was giving a commencement speech. So he's speaking to the graduates, not to the public, not to the world. He's speaking to them, and he's saying things that go right along with the Catholic doctrine because it's a Catholic university. And
right. Yeah.
And they are just raking this cat over the coals.
Yeah, that's dumb.
Except his coach and his players have all stood by him, kind of saying,
like the way Andy Reid do this.
Yeah, exactly. Andy Reid said, we're a group of all different people, and we all have our own opinions and our own voice. So we're not going to discuss this with them.
I feel like all groups would appreciate a sacred space to themselves to discuss their own interpersonal things. I mean, I can see that with everybody.
And so the
gingers, we need our time together.
This is once again come down just because it's faith is involved, but it's kind of come down to a lefty righty thing. And the lefties are screaming louder, whereas the support is a bunch of different venues selling his jerseys and whatnot have sold out of them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Men's cuts, women's cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I've said all along, I don't think there's more leftists. I think they're just louder.
Right.
Mm-mm.
I think a lot of people would support him supporting his religious choices and following through on them. I think a lot of people would applaud that regardless of faith.
Yeah. Or specifically the choices that he was talking about, because he's really talking about, and when I want to address the women in this crowd, and he goes on to mention something about the accomplishments and the promotions and the titles you will earn because they all just graduated college, so their chances are going to a career job. And he says, looking back, I'm sure your biggest accomplishment you'll be most proud of was becoming a mother and raising a family.
Right.
Oh, and that was
the
the
worst.
Say that. You can't
Right.
say that.
It's an
now.
old thing to say. It's usually a woman thing to tell another woman. I will say I have heard that plenty of times. But that's that's hard.
I really enjoyed, watching Benji grow up. It's
right.
Glad we've done this. Glad we're there. I'm not a woman, but I could see the perspective.
I mean, I remember growing up and saying, I do not want that to be my one big accomplishment. I want many other accomplishments. And so it more than likely, yes, the individual would probably answer that. But if you're not that individual, I don't think you should assume that answer.
Yeah.
Don't assume it. Yeah. It could be that many of you might feel this, and that's valid. If you don't, that's valid. We just live in, it's a tough one.
Yeah. We're still talking about Catholics and a Catholic school and the Catholic doctrine.
Again, like if you were talking to Mormons, would they have a problem with you saying that? Not at all.
Yeah.
Why? Women are supposed to know their place in the Mormon religion with what your job is, right? We're to bear children, we're to raise them, we're to teach them, to support our husbands, support our communities, be a daughter of God, blah, blah, blah. So again, when it gets to religion, it gets serious, and people just need to understand that's old seriousness.
But and say,
The
like, if he
biggest,
was
the biggest
atheist,
issue with this whole thing, most of the people that are screaming and yelling and stomping their feet didn't listen to the speech. They didn't go
Absolutely.
back and look at what he said. They didn't
In
listen
full
to what he
context.
said.
it was definitely twisted.
They listened to what the people told them to be upset about.
The third or fourth interpretation, and it's all
Correct.
packaged
They
up.
said you should be that his speech was homophobic and misogynist, and you
Right.
should just be upset about this guy telling you to stay in your lane and that you don't deserve anything. That's the way they spun it, is you don't
Right.
deserve anything except for being a homemaker. That's
Right.
what they said he said, which he said
It's not what he
Not at
said,
all.
not what he
not
meant.
even close to what he said.
And the anti-homosexuality and promoting, family and whatnot, that's, as I understand it, all in line with the Catholic doctrine. I mean, if he was an atheist at an atheist school talking atheist things, would we be all up in arms?
No.
Probably wouldn't even hear of it.
Wouldn't even care.
All right, did you find anything about the husband and wife law?
Just that I stopped looking at it because I was looking up the other thing, but it does say, let's see, it was the soul of the was Section 3 of the Evidence Amendment Act of 1853, which provided that in civil cases, no husband shall be compellable to disclose any communication made to him by his wife during the marriage, and no wife shall be compelled to disclose any.
So civil, not
Yeah.
criminal.
Right.
No, that's about procedure.
But no, it is criminal now. But
Okay.
So in the United States, federal case law dictates the privileges permissible and prohibited in federal trials, while state case law governs their scope of state court. Common rule for both the communications privilege and the testimonial privilege is that absent a lawful marriage, civil union, or domestic partnership, there is no privilege. Both rules may be suspended depending on the jurisdiction. The case of divorce proceedings or custody suit, but are suspended in cases where one spouse is accused of a crime against the other spouse or the spouse's child. And yeah, so it doesn't really say where it came from. I mean, it sounds like it carried over, though, from the English law. The privilege is one aspect of a long-established rule of evidence, and its origin in common law rule, which was, prior to even the United States being a place.
Interesting. That's old.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to have to research this a little more.
And either spouse can invoke it. Say, like, if I were the defendant and Jody were called to the stand, I could have her basically silenced.
Right.
Oh, like you can't, you won't let
either
me
spouse
say?
can invoke it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I wanted to tattle?
Yes.
Oh!
You wouldn't be allowed to.
But the jury's allowed to infer whatever they want from your not being allowed to.
Shields communication made in confidence during a valid marriage.
I'll get my
The
side.
purpose of the privilege is to provide assurance that all private statements between spouses will be free from public exposure. In order to invoke a spousal communications privilege, a party must establish that A, at the time of the communications where spouses were in a valid marriage, and B, the communications were intended to convey information between spouses, and neither spouse has disclosed the communication to a third party. Ooh, that's a big one.
Oh, and this is only communications.
Yep. And the communications were intended to be confidential.
Yeah. So if the spouse noticed other spouse hiding corpses under the bed, they could be compelled to discuss about what they saw.
They could actually make them talk about what they saw. Yes.
Confidential communications.
Either spouse could invoke the privilege to prevent testimony. The privilege does not survive the dissolution of the marital relationship. or if the spouses are suing each other. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, another court ruled the defendant's act of
There we
hiding
go.
drugs in his ex-wife's underwear during the marriage was not a communication and thus not privileged. Ex-wife was allowed to
Gotcha.
testify about her ex-husband tucking a bag of cocaine in her bra over his objections. Spouses were no longer married at the time and testimony was offered. Privilege continues after marriage ends, but only covers, again, confidential communications during the marriage.
Wow. Interesting. Well, hey, on that note, let go.
Yeah.
And the privilege objection will likewise fail if either spouse fails to keep the communication confidential.
Yeah, right. No, that's the third. If somebody tells a third party, then it's out there. It's been publicized. So that means it's no longer a protected
Valid
communication
marriage required.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Well, stand by. So here's the thing. There's only one day of court coming up this week. Yeah.
Holiday.
Like, I don't know why. Tuesday is the only court day for Karen Reed trial, and the rest of the week they're off. So I'll probably put together, so I've got all the stuff to put together another video. I'll probably do it early in the week, and then maybe we'll do that Miss Matters video we were talking about.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll see if we can get another banger video this week.
Sausage in the mouth. Finger in the mouth.
What? God. Really?
I'm Joe Biden. They say I'm the 46th president, but really I'm 81.
All right, I'm leaving.
All right. Oh, look at that. You got your
bobblehead.
Bobblehead, your Joe Biden bobblehead. All right. Thank you, everybody. See you later. Goodbye.